Hello my dear students, in this lecture we are going to learn various methods to improve efficiency of gas turbine. Now basically we have three types of methods, that is method of regeneration, method of reheat and method of intercooling. Now let us understand these methods one by one. So before understanding methods, let us understand what is the gas turbine. Here gas turbine is nothing but Brayton cycle. Gas turbine functions on the Brayton cycle, right? That already we have seen. So let us understand this Brayton cycle or Brayton gas turbine. Brayton gas turbine. Now here, in case of this cycle, very first process is reversible adiabatic compression in compressor, right? Very first process is 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic. We can say reversible adiabatic compression, and it is done in compressor, right? So if I draw a device, here there will be a compressor. This is compressor where from 1 to 2 air is compressed in compressor, right? 1 to 2 air is compressed in compressor. Now the second process is constant pressure heat supply, that is 2 to 3. Second process, which is 2 to 3, is constant pressure heat supply. Constant pressure heat supply in combustion chamber. It is supplied in combustion chamber. Therefore, there will be a combustion chamber, CC. CC for combustion chamber. Let us say it is a combustion chamber, right? Now, after that, that is 2 to 3. After heat supply, we are going to expand this air in turbine. Therefore, again 3 to 4 is reversible adiabatic expansion. Expansion is reversible adiabatic. Reversible adiabatic expansion in turbine. Therefore, there will be a expansion in turbine. Here, T stands for turbine, right? And after expansion, the exhaust from the turbine is given to the atmosphere again. That is 4 to 1 to 4. 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. Therefore, we can say 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. At constant pressure, heat rejected to the atmosphere. Now, my dear students, the exhaust of turbine T4 or whatever may be the exhaust of the turbine is directly given to the atmosphere, and atmospheric pressure remains constant. Therefore, whatever may be the heat in this exhaust gases is rejected to the atmospheric air. Therefore, it is constant pressure heat rejection. Now, if I draw temperature versus entropy diagram, let us draw temperature versus entropy diagram for this cycle. Here, on y-axis we will consider temperature. On y-axis we will consider temperature, and on x-axis we will consider entropy. Therefore, temperature versus entropy diagram. Now, very first process is reversible adiabatic compression, means isentropic compression. That means here during this compression from 1 to 2 entropy remains constant and temperature increases. Therefore, from 1 to 2 at constant entropy temperature increases. Now 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat supply. Therefore, entropy and temperature both increases if heat is supplied at constant pressure. Therefore, from 2 to 3 like this, temperature increases at constant pressure and entropy also increases. Now 3 to 4 is reversible adiabatic expansion. Reversible adiabatic means isentropic, that is entropy remains constant, and expansion means temperature decreases. Therefore 3 to 4 temperature decreases. Here 4 point. Now 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. Again back to the 1 at constant pressure. We are going back to the 1 at constant pressure where heat is rejected to the surrounding. These are the various processes on PV and TS diagram. Here we have drawn temperature versus entropy diagram because this diagram is required for understanding of regeneration, that is method of regeneration. Now this is the cycle. Now my dear students, there is a first method for improving the thermal efficiency is method of regeneration. Here, so very first method for improving the thermal efficiency is called method of regeneration, right? So write down a note, that is first method is method of regeneration. Now this regeneration is used for improving the efficiency of Brayton cycle. Now here regeneration means heat recovery process. We can say regeneration is nothing but heat recovery process. Heat recovery process is called regeneration. Now my dear students, can you say here the temperature at the end of compression is T2? Let us observe the temperature at the end of compression. Here it is T2, right? This T2. and temperature at the end of turbine exit is T4, right? Temperature at the end of turbine exit is T4, right? Now my dear students, means the exhaust gases which are leaving the turbine is having higher temperature than the compressed gases T2, right? Here in this case we can say T4 is more than T2. That means the exhaust gases leaving the turbine are having higher temperature as compared to compressed gases. And my dear students, from 2 to 3 it is constant pressure heat supply. So if I use this heat from the exhaust gases to heat the compressed gases or compressed air, then we need to supply lesser heat as compared to previous case. Let us understand this concept briefly. In regeneration, heat of exhaust gases is used to heat the compressed air. That means the temperature T4 is more than temperature T2. Hence, this heat is used to heat the compressed air, so that this T2 will increase. Right. Hence, air enters the combustion chamber at higher temperature. That means air entering into the combustion chamber will be at higher temperature as compared to previous case. Hence, we need to supply less heat for producing same work. Therefore, in combustion chamber, we need to supply lesser heat to produce same amount of work. That is, area of the cycle is same, right? Hence, efficiency of the cycle increases. So, my dear students, what we will do? These exhaust gases we are not passing directly to the atmosphere. Now, we are connecting these exhaust gases with the compressed air, so that between compressed air, that is between condition 2 and between condition 4, we are putting one heat exchanger. Here it is heat exchanger. Heat exchanger is used only to exchange heat. Now heat exchanger, what will happen? The hot gases will heat the colder one, right? So whenever this air entering into the combustion chamber is heated in the heat exchanger, and the condition becomes 2 dash. Instead of 2, the condition becomes 2 dash before entering into the combustion chamber, right? And heat exchanger is constant pressure process only. That means 2 to 3 process will remain same, constant pressure process only. And my dear students, the exhaust gases, that is T4. Now these exhaust gases will heat the compressed air T2. Therefore, temperature of compressed air T2 will increase. Hence, T4 will decrease. Therefore, the T4 will leave the surrounding at lesser temperature. That is 4 dash condition. That is 4 dash condition. So let us mark this 2 dash and 4 dash on the actual cycle. Right. So my dear students, this temperature at the end of compression will increase, right, because of this heating. Therefore, air entering into the combustion chamber will pass into the combustion chamber at higher temperature. Let us say from 2 dash there is a combustion chamber. Therefore, now combustion chamber is from 2 dash to 3. And my dear students, 2 to 2 dash is heat exchanger, constant pressure process. Again, constant pressure process, right? And these exhaust gases, that is T4, are living into the atmosphere at lesser temperature. Let us say it is at 4 dash. It is at 4 dash. We can say 4 dash somewhere here, right? And 4 to 4 dash is heat exchanger, right? And heat exchanger is constant pressure process only. And from 4 dash to 1, heat is rejected to the surrounding or atmosphere at constant pressure, right? So my dear students, let us observe this condition, or let us do the analysis of these conditions, right? Now area under TS diagram, area under temperature versus entropy diagram, is nothing but heat, right? Therefore, area under 2 to 2 dash, area under, we can say 2 to 2 dash, this hatching area 2 to 2 dash, we can we can say this is a heat supplied to compressed air. This area is heat supplied to compressed air, to compressed air, right? Because this area under temperature versus entropy diagram is nothing but heat. Therefore, 2 to 2 dash is heat supplied to the compressed air in heat exchanger. Therefore, which is equal to this heat, we can say here entropy term I am deleting, right? On x axis there is entropy. Therefore, this heat supplied to the compressed air is equal to mCp of air T2 dash minus T2. This will be the heat supplied to the compressed air. And my dear students, the area under 4 to 4 dash, we can say area under 4 to 4 dash is nothing but heat recovery. That is heat lost from the exhaust of the turbine. That means it is a heat recovery from the exhaust gases. Therefore, this area, we can say, let us observe this area 4 dash to 4, this area, right? This is the heat recovery. We can say this area is heat recovery from exhaust gases. Heat recovery from exhaust or exhaust gases. Therefore, this heat recovery is nothing but mCp of exhaust gases. Cp of, we can say, exhaust gas, mCp of exhaust gas into T4 minus T4 dash into T4 minus T4 dash. And my dear students, heat exchanger is adiabatic process. Heat exchanger is adiabatic process means there is no loss of heat or there is no gain of heat. Means whatever heat is lost by the exhaust gases is gained by the compressed air. Therefore, we can say heat recovery from the exhaust gases is equal to heat supplied to the compressed air. Therefore, heat recovery from the compressed gases, mCp of exhaust gases, mCp of exhaust gas into T4 minus T4 dash, T4 minus T4 dash here, right? T4 minus T4 dash. This is the heat recovery from the exhaust gases is equal to heat supplied to the compressor air. Therefore, mCp of air T2 dash minus T2. This is called adiabatic process. There and heat exchanger is adiabatic process. My dear students, heat exchanger is adiabatic process. That means whatever may be the heat lost by the hot fluid is gained by the cold fluid. This is the meaning of adiabatic process here. That means the inside air will not go outside and outside heat will not go inside. This is the meaning. The exchange of heat is between hot fluid and cold fluid. This is the meaning of adiabatic here. Now here this heat exchanger used is a mechanical device and the mechanical device is not 100% efficient. Therefore, there will be a effectiveness of this heat exchanger, and this effectiveness concept you have already learned in heat transfer subject, right? Therefore, there will be a effectiveness for this heat exchanger. There will be a effectiveness of heat exchanger represented by effectiveness of heat exchanger. And my dear students, effectiveness of heat exchanger is nothing but actual heat transfer divided by the maximum possible heat transfer. Now here this concept I am using directly from the heat transfer subject, where you have studied effectiveness of heat exchanger in heat exchanger topic, and effectiveness is one of the method for design of heat exchanger, right? There is LMTD method, logarithmic mean temperature difference method, and there is the effectiveness method for the design of any heat exchanger. Therefore, the effectiveness concept directly I am using from the heat transfer subject, right? Now here effectiveness of heat exchanger is nothing but actual heat transfer through the heat exchanger divided by maximum possible heat transfer in the heat exchanger, right? So my dear students, the actual heat transfer in the heat exchanger is nothing but from 2 to 2 dash. This is the actual gain of heat. Therefore, effectiveness of heat exchanger is equal to mCp T2 dash minus T2, mCp T2 dash minus T2 divided by what can be the maximum possible of heat transfer. See here, my dear students, the exhaust gas temperature is T4 and compressed air temperature is T2, means we have maximum temperature difference available for the heat transfer, which is nothing but T4 minus T2. This is the maximum temperature difference available for the recovery. But what temperature difference we have recovered? We have reached up to T2 dash, means this is a delta T actual recovered, right? Actual temperature difference we got is T2 dash minus T2, but the maximum possible temperature difference available for the recovery is T4 minus T2, right? Therefore, the maximum possible heat can be flowing is mCp T4 minus T2. Therefore, mCp will get cancelled. Therefore, if effectiveness of heat exchanger is equal to, we can say T2 dash minus T2 divided by T4 minus T2, which is nothing but effectiveness of heat exchanger. In simple language, we can say it is equal to actual temperature difference we got divided by the maximum possible temperature difference available for the recovery of heat. Now let us understand the how efficiency is increasing because of this regeneration, right? After the concept of effectiveness, let us understand why the efficiency is increasing because of this regeneration. Now here 1 to 2 is compression. Now this process 1 to 2 is not changing. That means we can say work of compressor is same here. After regeneration also work of compression is same. Now 3 to 4 is turbine. Again 3 to 4 is not changing. That means after regeneration also work of turbine is same here, right? But net work is nothing but turbine work minus compression work. Therefore, it is also same. And here we can say before regeneration as well as after regeneration, the area enclosed by the cycle is same, and the area enclosed by the cycle is nothing but net work. Therefore, here the net work is same. Now my dear students, 2 to 2 dash is heat recovery, that is regeneration. 2 to 2 dash is heat recovery, this is a heat exchanger which is not supply of heat. Now heat supplied is in combustion chamber. Now combustion chamber is 2 dash to 3. Therefore in this case after regeneration heat supply is equal to mcp T3 minus T2 dash. Now you can see here before regeneration the heat supply was mcp T3 minus T2, but after regeneration heat supply is mcp T3 minus T2 dash. That means this temperature difference is decreased, that is T3 minus T2 dash is less than T3 minus T2. Therefore this heat supply is now decreasing, is decreased, we can say heat supply is decreased, right? Similarly heat rejection. Now heat rejection after regeneration is from 4 dash to 1. Therefore heat rejection is equal to mcp T4 dash minus T1, and before regeneration the heat rejection was mcp T4 minus T1, and T4 minus T1 is more than T4 dash minus T1. Therefore heat rejection is also decreased, here heat rejection is also decreased. But the net work output which is nothing but difference between heat supply and heat rejected, which is nothing but difference between turbine work and compression work, is same, that already we have seen. Net work is same, that is area of the cycle is same, right? So let us understand the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. Now efficiency of ideal regeneration. Now here for ideal regeneration I will write IR. Efficiency of ideal regeneration is nothing but efficiency for any cycle is net work output divided by heat supply to the cycle. Now here net work output is same but heat supply is decreasing. That means if this heat supply is decreasing, the denominator is decreasing, and as denominator is decreasing this factor is increasing, therefore efficiency is increasing. Therefore my dear students, the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle is more than Brayton cycle efficiency, that is efficiency is increasing here, right? Now let us find this efficiency or change in efficiency. Now efficiency is nothing but, here efficiency of ideal regeneration is equal to W net divided by heat supply, and we know that W net is heat supply minus heat rejected divided by heat supply is equal to 1 minus heat rejected divided by heat supply. So let us put the values of heat rejected and heat supply. Heat rejected and heat supply values we have calculated here. Therefore it is equal to 1 minus heat rejected is mcp T4 dash minus T1 divided by heat supply is mcp T3 minus T2 dash. Therefore mcp will get cancelled from numerator and denominator. Then in terms of temperature, the efficiency formula, efficiency of ideal regeneration will become equal to 1 minus T4 dash minus T1 divided by T3 minus T2 dash. This is the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. Now here if I find this efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle in terms of pressure ratio, then we have to replace this T4 dash, T3 and T2 in terms of T1, and so that we will get one formula in terms of pressure ratio, as like we have done this previously for Brayton cycle. The same we are going to do, but here we are not going to derive anything directly. I will write the formula because already such type of derivations we have seen in IC engine as well as in Brayton cycle. So after this simplification, this efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle becomes equal to 1 minus minimum temperature in the cycle divided by maximum temperature in the cycle into Rp raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma, where this ratio minimum temperature divided by maximum temperature is nothing but T1 divided by T3, because T1 is minimum temperature in the cycle and T3 is maximum temperature in the cycle, which is nothing but minimum temperature divided by maximum temperature. Just now we have seen the diagram also, right? This is the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle for a Brayton cycle, right? Now but without regeneration, in previous lectures we have derived the efficiency of Brayton cycle. Efficiency of Brayton cycle without regeneration is nothing but 1 minus 1 upon Rp pressure ratio raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma. This formula we have derived, right? Means this is the efficiency of Brayton cycle, and here this will be the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. So my dear students, from these two formulas, can you say the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle is a function of pressure ratio, as well as efficiency of Brayton cycle is a function of pressure ratio, right? And for Brayton cycle, if pressure ratio increases, see here, pressure ratio is in the denominator, therefore 1 divided by Rp will decrease and 1 minus this factor will increase. Therefore whenever pressure ratio increases, the efficiency of Brayton cycle increases. But my dear students, for ideal regeneration cycle, if pressure ratio increases, this negative term increases and 1 minus factor decreases. Therefore efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle decreases. So as we have seen, efficiency of Brayton cycle in terms of pressure ratio is 1 minus 1 upon Rp raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma, and efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle in terms of pressure ratio is 1 minus minimum temperature divided by maximum temperature in the cycle into Rp raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma. And similarly we have seen, as pressure ratio goes on increasing, efficiency of Brayton cycle goes on increasing and efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle goes on decreasing. So let us draw the graph of efficiency versus pressure ratio. Let us draw the graph of efficient thermal versus pressure ratio for ideal regeneration cycle as well as for Brayton cycle. Now for Brayton cycle, if pressure ratio Rp becomes equal to 1, then 1 divided by 1 is 1, 1 to the power anything is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, therefore efficiency of Brayton cycle becomes equal to 0. Therefore at pressure ratio is equal to 1, the efficiency of Brayton cycle is 0, and as pressure ratio increases, efficiency of Brayton cycle increases. Therefore the graph for Brayton cycle efficiency will be like this. This is the efficiency of Brayton cycle. Similarly my dear students, for efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle, as the pressure ratio increases, efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle decreases. Therefore the graph will be like this. For ideal regeneration cycle, this is the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. Now in this calculation we will get one pressure ratio where efficiency of Brayton cycle is equal to efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. Therefore this pressure ratio is called critical pressure ratio. This pressure ratio is called critical pressure ratio. At critical pressure ratio, the efficiency of Brayton cycle becomes equal to efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. So therefore let us find the value of this critical pressure ratio. Therefore we can say at Rp critical, that is at critical pressure ratio, efficiency of Brayton cycle becomes equal to efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. So equate them. Therefore 1 minus 1 upon Rp raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma is equal to 1 minus minimum temperature in the cycle divided by maximum temperature in the cycle into Rp raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma, right? And where this Rp is critical pressure ratio, RPC critical pressure ratio. Now here from both sides 1 minus will get cancelled. Therefore the formula remains 1 upon Rp critical raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma is equal to minimum temperature divided by maximum temperature into Rp critical raised to 1 minus gamma divided by gamma. Now let us take this Rp critical to the right side and this T minimum divided by T maximum to the left side. Therefore the equation becomes maximum temperature divided by minimum temperature. It will become reciprocal na. If I change the side, is equal to Rp critical raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma into Rp critical raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma. Therefore we can get the maximum temperature divided by minimum temperature in the cycle is equal to, we can say, Rp critical power 2 gamma minus 1 upon gamma, because it will be the square. Now if I take this power towards the left side and if I find Rp critical, let us find Rp critical, that is at critical pressure ratio, the efficiency of Brayton cycle becomes equal to efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. Therefore this Rp critical, we will get Rp critical is equal to maximum temperature divided by minimum temperature. Now power will become reciprocal, that is gamma divided by, power is gamma divided by 2 gamma minus 1. This will be the Rp critical, right? And my dear students, in optimum work of the gas turbine topic, we have derived one formula for the Rp optimum, that is optimum pressure ratio. Rp optimum is nothing but the pressure ratio corresponding to which net work output is maximum, and from this topic, if you recall this formula, the exactly similar formula we have obtained, right, in Rp critical topic. Therefore we can say the Rp critical is nothing but Rp optimum, which is nothing but maximum temperature divided by minimum temperature to the power gamma divided by 2 gamma minus 1, right? And my dear students, this Rp critical or Rp optimum is nothing but under root of Rp maximum. that already we have seen. Therefore this we can say Rp critical is equal to Rp optimum is equal to under root of Rp maximum, which is nothing but the formula is maximum temperature divided by minimum temperature to the power gamma divided by 2 gamma minus 1, right? Now let us understand the significance of this critical pressure ratio, right? Now let us draw the Brayton cycle on temperature versus entropy diagram. Temperature versus entropy diagram for a Brayton cycle is 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat supply, 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat supply, 3 to 4 is constant reversible adiabatic expansion, that is constant entropy expansion, and 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. These are the various processes on TS diagram for a Brayton cycle. Now my dear students, here regeneration means the heat of exhaust gases, that is T4, is mixed with compressed air, that is T2, so that the temperature of compressed air will increase and temperature of exhaust gases will decrease, right? That already we have seen. Now here, what is the significance of this critical pressure ratio? Now whenever pressure ratio is less than critical pressure ratio, can you observe here, whenever pressure ratio is less than critical pressure ratio, that is Rp critical, we can say Rp critical, then here somewhere here, the let us say the point is here, then the efficiency of Brayton cycle is less than efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle, right? At this case the efficiency of Brayton cycle is less than efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle, means if I do regeneration then it is beneficial. Now why this is so? Now whenever this is the condition, that is pressure ratio is less than critical pressure ratio, then temperature at the end of exhaust from the turbine T4 is more than temperature at the end of compressor, right? That is T2. This T4 is more than T2, means as there is a temperature difference between compressor exit and turbine exit, because of this temperature difference there is a scope for regeneration, because we are using these exhaust gases of turbine for heating of compressed gases, so there is a scope for regeneration and efficiency always improves, right? Now second point is, this is the first point, whenever pressure ratio is less than critical pressure ratio. Second point, whenever pressure ratio is more than critical pressure ratio, observe the efficiency, means pressure ratio is somewhere here, therefore the pressure ratio is somewhere here. Then if I observe the efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle is less than efficiency of Brayton cycle, therefore for this case this efficiency of Brayton cycle becomes more than efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle. That means if pressure ratio is more than critical pressure ratio, then we should not do regeneration, otherwise efficiency will decrease. This happens because whenever pressure ratio is more than critical pressure ratio, the temperature at the end of turbine exit is less than temperature at the end of compression exit, means in this case this T4 becomes less than T2. Now you can see diagrammatically here, this T4 becomes less than T2, and whenever T4 and T2 are mixing, as T4 is less, therefore T4 will increase and T2 will decrease. That means my dear students, the cycle will come down like this, T2 will decrease, right, and becomes T2 dash, and we have to supply heat from 2 dash to 3. We have to supply heat from 2 dash to 3. That means instead of heat supply is decreasing, here heat supply is increasing. For this case heat supply is increasing, therefore efficiency is nothing but W net divided by heat supply, W net divided by heat supply, and as heat supply is increasing, efficiency is decreasing. Therefore my dear students, it is advisable to do regeneration whenever the turbine exit temperature T4 is more than compressor exit temperature T2, then only regeneration is possible. So my dear students, here whenever T4, we can say T4 is more than T2, then only regeneration is possible, right? And my dear students, whenever T4 is less than T2, it is not called regeneration. This condition is heat loss, this condition is loss of energy, right? Heat loss. But regeneration is T4 more than T2. Therefore my dear students, it is considered that for regeneration, temperature at the end of turbine exit is more than temperature at the end of compressor exit, that is T4 is more than T2, right? And whenever T4 is more than T2, efficiency of ideal regeneration cycle is more than Brayton cycle efficiency. Therefore here whenever they ask you question, the regeneration improves efficiency or decrease efficiency, then regeneration always increases efficiency, because whenever there is a regeneration, then there is always this condition, that is T4 is more than T2. Therefore we can say regeneration always increases efficiency, right? And whenever efficiency is decreasing, this is not regeneration, this is a heat loss. Now second method of improving the efficiency is method of reheat. Now let us understand about this method of reheat. Now reheat is nothing but expansion is done in two stages with an intermediate reheater. This is called reheat. Means there are two turbines for the expansion. One is high pressure turbine, other is low pressure turbine, and in high pressure turbine there is some part of expansion and other part of expansion will be in low pressure turbine, that we will see in diagrammatically. But my dear students, remember one note, that only reheating will decrease the efficiency of Brayton cycle, but reheating with regeneration will always increase the efficiency, right? When your question is asked, only reheat decreases the efficiency, but reheat with regeneration increases the efficiency. Now let us understand this concept. Now here, in case of Brayton cycle, 1 to 2 is compressor, so let us compress the gas. Now 1 to 2, here 1 to 2 is compressor, this is the first compressor, right? After compression, the heat is added in combustion chamber, therefore there will be a combustion chamber from 2 to 3 where heat is added. Now 3 to 4 there is an expansion in turbine, therefore 3 to 4 there is a expansion in turbine. Here is a turbine 1, here there is a turbine 1. This is called a high pressure turbine. This is a high pressure HP turbine, high pressure turbine, where some part of expansion is done. Now after this is a Brayton cycle, up to this only there is a Brayton cycle. But after high pressure turbine expansion, if again heat is supplied in combustion chamber, let us supply again heat in combustion chamber and then go for low pressure turbine, then there will be a turbine 2. This is a low pressure turbine where there will be a expansion. Therefore 4 to 5 is again heat added to the combustion chamber, and 5 to 6 again it is a turbine expansion. 5 to 6 is a low pressure turbine expansion. That means expansion is done in two stages, that is in turbine 1 high pressure turbine as well as in turbine 2 low pressure turbine expansion is done. Because as it is high pressure turbine, after expansion pressure decreases, hence T2 is low pressure turbine. Now let us draw the temperature versus entropy diagram for this, right? If we draw temperature versus entropy diagram, let us observe the temperature versus entropy diagram, right? From this diagram we will get clear understanding, right? From this diagram we will get clear understanding. So let us draw the temperature versus entropy diagram for this, right? Here on y-axis temperature is considered, on x-axis it is the entropy. Now here 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression, therefore from 1 to 2 entropy remains constant and temperature increases because it is a reversible adiabatic compression. 2 to 3 constant pressure heat supply in combustion chamber 1, right? Therefore it is 2 to 3 constant pressure heat supply, here 3. Now 3 to 4 it is high pressure turbine expansion, that is reversible adiabatic expansion, that is entropy remains constant and temperature decreases, therefore the 4 point will be somewhere here. Again 4 to 5 is constant pressure heat supply in combustion chamber 2, here this is the combustion chamber 2, right? CC2, and here it is CC1. 2 to 3 CC1 combustion chamber 1. Now again 4 to 5 constant pressure heat is supplied, therefore 4 to 5 again at constant pressure heat is supplied and the system goes to the 5. Then 5 to 6 is again turbine expansion, that is low pressure turbine expansion, therefore there will be a 6 here, 5 to 6. And 6 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection to the surrounding. 6 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection to the surrounding. 4 is, now here this 4 is in between point, this is the 4 point, right? Now my dear students, let us understand what is happening here, right? Let us understand what is happening here. Because of this expansion in two stages, the work of turbine is increasing, because here work of turbine is nothing but, here there are two turbines, that is 3 to 4 is first turbine, therefore it is MCP T3 minus T4. This is the first work of turbine, high pressure turbine work, plus there is other turbine also, that is 5 to 6, therefore it is MCP T5 minus T6. Therefore work of turbine is increasing, right? Now work of compressor, let us find work of compressor. Now here compressor is from 1 to 2. Now in old case let us say if there is no intermediate reheater, or if there is no combustion chamber 2 and turbine 2, then the cycle will be up to 4 only. Therefore the 4 will come to this 4 dash, right? Without reheat the cycle will be 1 2 3 4 dash, right? We can say without reheat the cycle will be 1 2 3 4 dash, and with reheat the cycle is 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? Therefore my dear students, here without reheat the compression is 1 to 2, and with reheat the compression is 1 to 2 only. That means work of compression, which is nothing but EMCP T2 minus T1 is same. But here work of turbine is increased, right? Work of turbine is increased. Therefore net work is nothing but work of turbine minus work of compression. As work of turbine is increasing and compressor work is same, therefore this difference is increasing. Therefore net work is increasing, net difference is increasing, therefore net work is increasing, and net work is increasing by this increase in shaded area. Can you see the area enclosed by the cycle is net work? Therefore in without reheat and with reheat cycle the shaded area is extra. Therefore net work is increasing by this red color shaded area, right? Again let us find heat supply. Now here heat supply is nothing but, now for without regeneration heat supply is 2 to 3. Therefore without regeneration heat supply is MCP T3 minus T2. But with regeneration again there is heat supplied in combustion chamber 2 also, that is from 4 to 5 also heat supplied. Therefore plus MCP T5 minus T4. That means heat supply is also increasing, right? Now heat rejection without regeneration heat rejection is from 4 dash to 1. This is without heat regeneration, but with regeneration heat rejection is from 6 to 1. Therefore heat rejection is equal to MCP T6 minus T1, which is increasing. So my dear students, this net work output, which is nothing but work of turbine minus work of compressor, that we have seen is increased, which is nothing but heat supply minus heat rejected. Here heat supply is also increasing and heat rejection is also increasing, and the difference is also increasing. Right? And efficiency of this reheat cycle will be equal to W net divided by heat supply. It is W net divided by heat supply, and here net work is also increasing and heat supply is also increasing, but this ratio is decreasing. Here we can say 1 minus heat rejected divided by heat supply. This efficiency is decreasing because here you can see the work is increasing by this shaded area, but the heat supply is increasing from 4 to 5. That is, here we can say area under TS diagram is heat. Therefore heat supply is increasing from area of under 4 to 5. This blue color hatching area is increase in heat supply, but the red color area is increase in work net. Hence we can say the increase in heat supply is more as compared to very high as compared to increase in net work output. Hence the efficiency of cycle decreases, right? So my dear students, because of reheat efficiency decreases, but still we are doing reheat because of reheat the temperature difference available for regeneration is increasing. Let us observe here. Now for regeneration temperature difference of turbine exit and compressor exit is a temperature difference for regeneration. See, without regeneration temperature difference is T4 dash is somewhere here and T2 is somewhere here. See, there may be a temperature difference or there may not be a temperature difference, and if there is a temperature difference, this is very less. We can see the difference T4 dash minus T2 without reheating is this much, and with reheating the temperature difference for available for the regeneration, that is temperature at the end of turbine exit T6 minus T2. See here, T6 minus T2. This is the new temperature difference for the regeneration available. Therefore can we say the temperature difference available for regeneration new is more than temperature difference available for regeneration old, right? Without reheating this is the old temperature difference is available, and with regeneration new temperature difference is available, and therefore as temperature difference available for the regeneration is increasing, so we can say reheat along with regeneration always increases the efficiency. So my dear students, after reheating we are going to do regeneration, then only cycle efficiency will increase. The third method to improve the efficiency of Brayton cycle is method of intercooling. And my dear students, intercooling is nothing but in intercooling cycle compression is done in two stages with an intermediate intercooler. There is an intermediate intercooler and there are two compressors, right? One is high pressure compressor, other is low pressure compressor, right? And my dear students, as like reheat, only intercooling always reduces the efficiency, but intercooling with regeneration improves the efficiency of Brayton cycle. Now let us understand this diagrammatically. Here very first process is reversible adiabatic compression in compressor 1, right? There will be a compressor 1, let us say this is a compressor 1 C1, where from 1 to 2 it is reversibly adiabatically compressed. After compression we will put here intermediate intercooler. Here there will be an intermediate intercooler, right? Compressed air is again cooled in the intercooler. Now this intercooler is nothing but heat exchanger. This intercooler is nothing but heat exchanger. We can say it as a intermediate intercooler. Intermediate intercooler is nothing but it is one type of heat exchanger which is operating at constant pressure. Then after intercooling it will reach to the location 3, right? And then again it is compressed in compressor 2. Again this compressed in compressor 2 C2, right, to the 4 condition. Then after compression the heat is added in combustion chamber CC, and up to 4 to 5 is heat addition at constant pressure in combustion chamber. Then there will be a turbine expansion. Then there will be a turbine expansion from 4 to 6, right? Now let us understand this intercooling cycle on temperature versus entropy diagram. So here we will draw temperature versus entropy diagram for this intercooling cycle, right? Let us draw the temperature versus entropy diagram. Temperature on y-axis and entropy on x-axis. Entropy on x-axis. Now here in compressor 1 it is compressed from reversible adiabatically, that is 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression. After compression heat is rejected at constant pressure in intermediate intercooler, right? Therefore from 2 to 3 again constant pressure heat rejection. Again 3 to 4 it is compressed in compressor at higher pressure, that is at pressure P2 or P3. It is compressed in compressor from 3 to 4, right? And from 4 to 5 heat is supplied at constant pressure. 4 to 5 heat is supplied at constant pressure like this. Constant pressure heat supply 5. Now from 5 to 6 there is a turbine expansion. Therefore 5 to 6 will be like this. 5 to 6 turbine expansion. And 6 to 1 again constant pressure heat rejection to the surrounding. Constant pressure heat rejection to the surrounding. Right, this is a intercooling. Here intermediate intercooler is used, means compression in two stages. From 1 to 2 is low pressure compression, from 3 to 4 is high pressure compression. Now my dear students, let us observe the works. Now work of compressor. Previously if it is without intercooling, then 1 to 2 dash the process will go here. 1 to 2 dash somewhere here, right? Means without intercooling we can say, let us say without intermediate intercooler, without intercooling the cycle will be 1 2 dash 5 6. 1 2 dash 5 6 will be the cycle, right? But with intercooling the cycle is 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? Therefore work of compression previously is 1 to 2 dash, that is mcp t2 dash minus t1. But in new case there are two compressions, that is mcp t2 minus t1 plus mcp t4 minus t3. Therefore it is mcp t2 minus t1 plus mcp t4 minus t3. And my dear students, this work of compression is decreasing here. In this case work of compression is decreasing. Now here you may think that previous work is mcp t2 dash minus t1 and now it is addition of two values. Now can you say here 2 plus 1 is less than 5? Definitely. Therefore addition of 2 any two value is more than other value, that we cannot say, right? We will see at the end. See, after calculation of net work I will tell you why work of compression is decreasing. Now see, in both cases, that is without intercooling and with intercooling, turbine is 5 to 6. Therefore work of turbine is equal to mcp t5 minus t6. and W net is net work is turbine work minus compression work, turbine work minus compression work. And my dear students, net work is nothing but area enclosed by the cycle. Now without regeneration, area is 1 2 dash 5 6, and with regeneration, can I say the area is increased by this red color shaded, by this red color shading, the area is increased because of intercooling. Means as area of cycle is increasing, this W net is increasing, but my dear students, turbine work is constant, turbine work is same, therefore this compression work must decrease. That means here with intercooling, work of compression is decreasing, right? Now let us observe heat supply. Heat supply is nothing but, in previous case heat supply is from 5 to 2 dash, but now heat supply is 5 to 4, therefore heat supply is mcp T5 minus T4, which is increasing. Now let us understand heat rejection. In previous case heat rejection is from 6 to 1, but now with 6 to 1 it is 2 to 3 also, therefore heat mcp T6 minus T1 plus mcp T2 minus T3, which is also increasing, therefore here heat rejection is also increasing. Now therefore we can say W net work is equal to work of turbine minus work of compressor, it is increasing, which is equal to heat supply minus heat rejected. Now here heat supply, heat rejected both are increasing, and as well as difference is also increasing, and the efficiency of cycle is nothing but net work output divided by heat supply, right? Now heat supply is nothing but area under TS diagram. See, without intercooling the area under 5 to 2 dash is heat supply, but with intercooling area under 5 to 4 is heat supply. That means area under 2 dash to 4 is increasing for heat supply, therefore increase in heat supply is this blue color area, increase in heat supply is this blue color area, that is area under 2 dash to 4, and increase in work is nothing but this red color shaded area, that is area enclosed by 2 dash 4 3 2, this red color area. That means we can say both are increasing. Here W net is also increasing, heat supply is also increasing, but increase in heat supply is more as compared to increase in W net, therefore efficiency due to intercooling, is decreasing, right? But still we are doing intercooling. Why we are doing intercooling, that we have to understand. One thing is that net work output is increasing, right? This is the first benefit of intercooling. Now let us understand second benefit of intercooling. Now without intercooling, the temperature difference available for the regeneration, that is T6 minus T2, without intercooling the temperature difference available for the regeneration is T6 minus T2. This is delta T old, that is without intercooling the temperature difference available is T6 minus T2 dash, right? But my dear students, with intercooling the temperature difference available for regeneration is T6 minus T4, therefore new temperature difference available for regeneration is, right, T6 minus T4 is the delta T new. Means we can say the temperature difference available for regeneration is increased because of intercooling. Hence if I do only intercooling, efficiency will decrease, but intercooling with regeneration always improves the efficiency is increasing. Thank you dear students. In next lecture we will see some basic information about gas turbine.